All right, whatever you're doing, take a look at your screen. This is something you have never seen in our area, an explosion that rocked downtown Greensboro last night. Are you watching this? The vehicle on the right side of your screen, boom. Late this afternoon, Greensboro police released this video of the blast. I mean, have you ever seen anything like this in Greensboro? The city's shaken and rattled last night, and nerves rattled as well. Homes and businesses evacuated after 2 explosions sent manhole covers flying in the air. This happened just after 8:30 p.m. on West Washington Street in downtown Greensboro. So here I am now live in front of the Biltmore Hotel, and I'm going to show you the manhole. Don, let's swing around and show them the manhole that has since been replaced. So it's no longer a hole in the ground. And several cars were damaged, Jewel, including one that was damaged belonging to Rob Douglas. Look at this.
Pretty shocking. Not something you expect to have happen on vacation where your car gets destroyed.
The Douglas family is visiting Greensboro, and do they have a story to tell? They won't forget this for the rest of their lives. And again, their Honda CR-V damaged during the explosion last night in downtown Greensboro. So I'm going to show you the scene right now. I'm standing in front of the Biltmore, and Don, show them here. This is one of the windows that is damaged. This is the spider-like cracking. But if you look higher up, Don, show them up there, all of the wood that covers the windows that shattered last night. I was just talking to the owner. These are the original windows to the building. So these are 100-year-old windows placed in that building around 1903. So this is something, again, like we've never seen before. Right now, Duke Energy crews, in fact, they just left this area. They were out here inspecting that hole. They were down underneath the ground trying to figure out exactly what happened. The city is telling us that it was an electronic issue. WFNY News 2's Erica Stapleton is trying to get to the bottom of all of this. Duke Energy is heading up their investigation. So what are they saying is causing all of this?
So far, as you had mentioned, they have been across this grid.
And Milton Kern, the owner of the building, just told me they found a piece of that car somewhere up there. It flew through the window.
Oh my goodness.
So that just gives you an idea of the power of that.
Exactly. Very powerful.
So yeah, it shook up a family's vacation in Greensboro. Take a listen. All right, so we're going to get back to that family from Ohio visiting Greensboro on a college tour, and they got caught up in the frenzy last night after hearing that explosion. WFNY News 2's Faith Abube talked to Rob Douglas, whose car was damaged by that blast. As he says, he doesn't hold any of this against the city of Greensboro. He says if his son does decide to go here, he'll be fine with that. And of course, everyone's happy that no one was hurt in all of this frenzy last night. The explosion did keep 911 operators, however, very busy. People calling concerned about the loud boom and the shaking they felt under their feet.
Oh my God, I don't know where I'm at.
From here, Milton Kern is here, and Milton, we do appreciate you making time to talk to us a little bit about all this. First, just tell me, all right, you hear about an explosion. What is going through your mind last night?
Well, the first thing that I thought about is everybody's safe. That's automatically, you think, my goodness, we have people in there and the staff. Everyone was safe. They were evacuated within 15 minutes. And the police department and the fire department did a great job. They cordoned off this place, and they didn't know what happened.
So your mind never went to, okay, was it a bomb or anything like that?
No.
Never went to that?
No.
So talk about the
well,
work.
eventually I did think, well, some crazy Frenchman did it.
Right. but thank goodness that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So talk about, all right, how much work has to go on here? How long will this take? How much money? I don't know if you want to go into the cost here.
Well, we don't know the cost, but we're guessing somewhere around $30,000 because all these windows up here are going to have to be, a lot of them are going to have to be replaced because there's some structural damage to them. But basically, to order new windows and to get them done, it's going to take 4 to 6 weeks. So that's what we're mulling over now, is how quickly we can get somebody in here to actually start replacing the glass and reworking the windows.
All right, so we don't have a lot of time, but I do have to ask about what happened in 2014 with the taxi driver who plowed his car into the building. Okay, give me that story, because we have some video of this.
Well, we never knew why he did it. He just ran his Bluebird taxi right into the front door, and you know, we had to replace all of this then. So. Ouch. Including the wood and the doors, and those are brand new doors because the other ones were destroyed. So it's
the unexpected happens.
Deja vu.
Right. Milton, always good to see you. Thank you so much for taking time.
Okay.
Again, 2 explosions here last night, damage to the Biltmore Hotel. Everyone's okay, but thousands of dollars in damage, and yeah, a whole lot of rattled nerves. But the good news is we're not dealing with anything like terrorism or anything like that. We've got more on this story throughout the next hour of our newscasts. Last night, 2 explosions rocked downtown Greensboro. You're looking at video we got just a couple hours ago from the city of Greensboro in front of the Biltmore Hotel on Washington Street, which is where I am right now, and you see the explosion right there, the car damaged. The police response last night, immense. The good news here is, fortunately, no one was hurt at all. Right now, the city is telling us they believe it was an electrical issue. We've been in touch with Duke Energy about that. They've been out here. I watched them myself down in the manhole looking for the cause, and they're saying so far they found no problem, nothing unusual at all. A spokesperson said it could be linked to another company that has utilities underground. One was on the 100 block of West Washington Street, the other not too far away. The exact location hasn't been given. And a man told us he could feel his house shake from several blocks away.
I could feel the shock wave, you know, when it boomed, you know, and then a second later, I felt my body tingle a little bit. It was pretty wild.
So the Biltmore Hotel had more than 40 windows blown out, and these are windows that are over 100 years old, and the owner is estimating it's at least a $30,000 repair job. We'll have more on this story over the next 45 minutes. In case you missed it, 2 explosions rocked downtown Greensboro last night. I'm standing here at the location. In front of me is a manhole, and underneath that manhole is where the explosion happened, at least the first one, right in front of the Biltmore Hotel here on West Washington Street. The front of a car was blown off, a hole in the wall inside this building, and 40 windows broken. 2 wants to know how that much damage can come from what might have been an electrical spark. Explosions rattling downtown Greensboro last night. The first blast around 8:30, there was a second, and now we've learned there's a third that happened within the next 10 minutes or so. At least 2 manhole covers flying into the air. We have shattered windows. We have a car damaged. Imagine being here last night. It was something no one had ever seen in downtown Greensboro, and I'm here with someone who was here, Sergeant Calvin Stevens. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
All right, tell me this story you were telling me earlier. You're at headquarters up the street, and you heard something. What was going through your mind?
Well, the initial sound sounded like a train was over at the rail yard hooking up and unhooking. We hear them all the time, so didn't think much of it. It actually felt the building shake a little bit as well.
And then the call came in and they said there's an explosion.
Right.
You come out here and what do you see?
Well, as I left headquarters and I came around the corner on Washington Street, the intersection was filled full of smoke. You almost couldn't see through it with so much smoke. And at that point, we're like, whoa, what do we have? So our initial response, our initial thought is we need to start moving people out of the way so that we can try to investigate and find out what happened.
And at that point, you say you heard something else.
Yeah, we had been on scene probably about 5 minutes, and we heard an additional bang. We weren't sure what it was. Fire department said it sounded like an additional explosion. So at that point, we already had a small perimeter set up around the initial explosion here, at which point we then moved backwards a little bit further back for additional safety.
And you were going 2 blocks each direction, north, south, east, and west from where we are right now.
Yes, sir.
And you heard how many total explosions?
Including the initial one, I heard 3.
3 explosions.
Yes.
So Duke Energy was out here last night. They investigated, and they came out talking about a junction box down there?
Yes, I'm not sure what their terminology was, but they said there was some type of a junction or power box underneath the ground because the manhole cover has electrical written on it, and they believe there's some failure in that they caused the explosion.
And then in the Green Street parking deck, there was another...
Yeah, we had reports that they had discovered additional damage to power boxes in the Green Street parking deck, which could have explained the additional noises we heard.
All right. Sergeant, thanks so much for being out here. Thank goodness nobody was hurt. We appreciate all the hard work
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
You and your compatriots. Thank you so much. All right, so getting a little more information, more detail. We'll continue to do that and give you more information on what happened, how we can prevent it from happening again. Certainly a little bit of a mystery about the cause still tonight. Julie, back to you. And we've seen Duke Energy out here investigating within the last 30 minutes. They were down in that manhole trying to figure out what exactly is going on, and there's still evidence of the damage. Look here behind me. That is where the manhole cover plugged a hole into the bottom of the Biltmore Hotel here on West Washington Street in downtown Greensboro. Obviously, they had to board that up just to make sure they don't have a hole in the building. But they have 40 windows that are more than 100 years old that have been damaged, shattered here in front of the building. These explosions were reported just after 8:30 in the 100 block of West Washington Street. Greensboro police confirmed there were 2 separate explosions. In fact, I just got an update. I'm being told now there were 3 separate explosions, and at least one blew a manhole cover off, sending it flying into the air. The explosion shattered those windows. There's a car that was damaged. The Biltmore Hotel and the Carolina Theater were evacuated. In fact, that evacuation zone was 2 blocks each direction. Streets were closed off, and Duke Energy, as I said, still investigating what exactly caused these explosions. So WFNY News 2's Erica Stapleton has been talking to Duke Energy, trying to figure out exactly what they have found. Erica, fill us in on what they're saying.
So far, as you mentioned, they've been on scene last night.
Last night, Erica, great reporting. All right, let's get back to the explosion here, okay? This is a near 300-pound manhole cover that just flew into the air. So how does something that heavy get blown up like that? 2 Wants to Know's Chad Silver found it requires a whole lot of energy, Chad.
Yeah, Frank.